you mean what? You just tried to take a bite out of my arm.
I'm sorry, Eddie. Just gonna be a little bite.
Johnny, you shouldn't be taking any bites.
Welcome to Second Class Cinema, the show where we watch a B movie and immediately discuss. And it's also horror movie month.
Woohoo!
I am Tom. I'm here with Brittany, Eric, and Taryn.
Welcome
Hello.
back, T.
Back again.
Yes, back again.
Welcome back for the finest month of the year.
Yeah.
Our favorite month of the year.
Yes.
March.
Recording these real early. No, it's October. We're going to watch horror movies all month long, as many as we can, some double features, and we're just going to have a good time.
Yeah.
So how's
so
everyone
far,
doing
so
tonight?
good.
Yeah. Everyone doing awesome tonight?
I am doing awesome.
Good.
Well, we just gingerly touched our tips. And
We did.
feeling real good about it.
Good. I felt good too. So yeah, tonight we watched the 1993 movie My Boyfriend's Back. Kind of like a horror comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was Brittany's pick.
Something new and exciting for me.
Yeah. Yeah. If you couldn't tell, Brittany's pick kind of falls into the motif
of a lot of my other picks.
of some of the other picks. So yeah, why don't you tell us why you picked this movie?
It's just something about a finely crafted horror comedy that I appreciate.
Yeah.
So I picked this movie because it was just one of those movies that I caught on TV when I was a kid like a bajillion times, and I always found it fucking whimsical and just hilarious and ridiculous. I own it on DVD, which I don't know if I should be embarrassed about that or proud.
Well, what kind of... You saw this on TV. Like, is this like HBO TV or is this like TNT TV?
I think like maybe not HBO, maybe
Definitely not.
maybe something a little better than TNT though.
Okay.
I feel
that
like
too drastic?
I feel like channel. Well, I feel like channel names have changed so much since we were kids. It could have been on like Bongo 47, and like that doesn't exist anymore. I have no fucking idea what it would have been.
Doesn't sound like that existed ever, but I may be wrong.
You know what I mean.
Bongo 47.
The ultimate.
3 hours of Night Court followed by Saved by the Bell.
That sounds about right.
They actually launched the channel. It played this movie one time, and then they took it off the air.
And then that was all she wrote. All right.
To this day, it's still a test pattern.
So that's why you watched it. It was a movie you watched when you were growing up there. Do you want to tell us what it's about?
Sure. This movie is about a teenager named Johnny Dingle who is in love.
Just occurred to me how funny that name is.
Yeah.
Johnny Dingle. He's in love with this girl, Missy. And to truncate it greatly, basically he sacrifices himself and dies for her, and then comes back to from the dead so he can take her to prom.
Yeah. That's a pretty good
Yep.
summation of the movie.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Why there are movies and they use names like Johnny Dingle for like the main character. That's like a perfect name for someone like that.
It really
you know?
is.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the original name of this when it was first written was Johnny Zombie, and then it totally got changed like post-production.
I totally like this name better.
Good, because Johnny Zombie would be terrible.
Yeah. That would be a bad name.
He wasn't really her boyfriend.
Exactly. And you know, I was reading, well, the guy that wrote this, Dean Lorey, has actually gone on to write, he wrote the screenplay for Major Payne,
Oh.
which is a great movie.
That's
He
funny,
also
too.
wrote the screenplay for Jason Goes to Hell, and he writes on Arrested Development.
Oh,
But
okay.
when I was looking up info about this movie a while ago, I stumbled upon his blog or his website or something, and he basically told like the whole long story of how this movie came to be, which was super interesting. And if anyone's seen this and they're into this movie, I recommend them checking it out. But yeah, it was just crazy, like how it got made. I guess he went to school with Sean Cunningham's son, who produced Friday the 13th, and they pitched them this movie, and they actually wanted to make it for like a super low budget, and then it got hacked to pieces, and they changed the whole story.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And Bob Balaban is the one who directed this.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't know his name, you would definitely know his face. He actually just played Alana's dad on Broad City last season.
Oh, really?
Like the guy with the glasses.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Yeah. What's his name from
From Seinfeld.
Seinfeld? Yes.
Yeah, he's
The
been in a
NBC,
ton of shit. But I guess like he directed another movie and it was super quirky, and I don't know, the studio just like tore this thing apart. They wanted like a really commercial, like typical product, and he didn't want to deliver it. And like all the comic strips that they added into the movie was done like after the fact. Like they finished the movie and everyone was really not happy with it.
Wow, really?
So they made them like shoot a bunch of extra shit and like put all the comic strip stuff in it.
Wait, so
like,
that was like a last afterthought type situation?
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that.
I don't know if I did either.
Did you write that down?
I have it marked as,
don't
this is
know.
literally the only time I've ever done this, as a positive and a negative.
Okay, well, why?
Because even though I thought it was a cool way to segue between scenes, I didn't get how it tied into the theme of the movie at all.
Definitely. That was
No.
the situation.
It didn't, and we weren't
getting.
getting any like supplemental information from those bits that we didn't already like have from the rest of the movie.
Yeah. It's,
Well, I did think they had value in helping us just race through some backstory, just so that they didn't have to linger on it. I mean, they could have done it in a different way, but they chose this way, which I think they were just trying to stylize a movie. Then I guess maybe. But the only excuse they had for it was that when the movie opened, it opened on a cover of the comic book of this movie. So I don't know if they were trying to like creep show it or something.
yeah, and like, yeah, they were talking. That kid in class when it first opened too was talking about heroes and stuff. Maybe it's something to do with that. I don't know.
Maybe.
Like,
Also, I mean, it got ripped to shreds apparently when they were turning it into the movie. So who knows what got left behind?
Yeah.
And I guess the writer was saying he didn't really understand what they liked about it in the first place, since they changed pretty much everything about it when it came time to make the movie.
Yeah. I mean, that's always the...
I actually really want to read through this now.
Yeah, it was
how
really
this started.
interesting, and like how Bob Balaban wanted to make a totally different, like more stylized movie, like more his style, but the studio just wouldn't let it happen.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's very strange. It was a good read. I was very interested.
Well, I guess, I mean, I liked the movie anyway.
Me too.
I feel like everyone's contributions to the movie didn't like bring it down in quality.
And it made me question like what was originally in like what was intact from the original writing.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
got added and stuff like that, because I still find this movie totally endearing. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah. I
I
wonder.
think it's funny.
Well, I wonder at what stage along the way that either got added, or if that was like in it from like the movie's foundation was in something like that, or if that was like oh my god, we need to make it spark like this like way later. I don't know. Well, that'll be interesting to find out.
Okay, you clowns, cut the crap.
So I guess let's just go into successes.
Sure.
Let's just do that.
successes.
What do we have?
I love the mood of this movie. It's very goofy and nonchalant, and like Johnny comes back from the dead and everyone's just like, oh, that dead kid. Like, so I don't know, it's just so hilarious to me how deadpan everyone is about it.
Yeah.
It's it has like such a matter of fact, everything's just happening and everyone's just rolling with it and no one's doing anything about it tone.
Yeah, like he
Yeah.
seems to have a stigma as being a dead kid, but
Yeah.
beyond that, it's not really questioned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a big deal at all.
No, I love it.
It
I
takes
love
place-
his parents for sure.
Like the whole thing has like that Leave It to Beaver vibe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And him being dead is just like, what if just like someone with slightly darker skin showed up there, kind of thing. Like,
Yeah, I got a lot of undertones like that through
Yeah.
the whole thing, like him being persecuted by the townspeople. Like
Yeah.
when him and Missy are walking, they're like, zombie whore, like lover of the undead. I was like, is this what interracial relationships were like in like the 50s? Because it
Yeah.
had that 50s vibe.
It did.
Yeah, it really did.
It was, yeah, like you said, retro. Definitely. Wardrobe and all.
Yeah, which was very cool. The wardrobe was very good.
Yeah, I agree. For the 90s.
Yeah, tough time to get things right.
Yeah,
know, right?
it is a tough
93.
time.
Everything was pretty non-offensive for being that early 90s, because let's face it, 93 is 1988 as far as like fashion goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's not good.
But no, he was just wearing like plaid button-ups and like cuffed jeans, and Chucks.
yeah,
Yeah.
clothes were a
And
little
his
loose, but otherwise,
PJ game.
oh,
on point,
Those PJs
though.
were incredible.
Yeah, they
Just
were.
PJ.
But in keeping with the mood too, you brought up the parents and stuff.
Now, why did I bring them up? Oh, because of like the whole nonchalantness of like nonchalantness.
Well, the dad's played by Edward Herrmann, who is just a treasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Richie Rich is dead.
Yeah. But the mom is like always packing heat and always trying to feed him bodies and stuff. And it's so silly.
Like he comes back from the dead and she calls
Yeah.
the doctor. She's like, our son Johnny died yesterday. I was wondering if you could take a look at him. And it's just like lines like that throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love the absurdity of how much they just stayed into being the characters they were written to be, which are these parents that just like are still parents no matter what.
Yep.
Yeah. His dad comes home. Son, did you murder a boy at school today?
Everything was so straight faced.
Yeah.
It was excellent.
It really was.
Such a
Yeah.
good mood for a movie. It's very different
was.
to just be all open like that.
I appreciated there was no winking at the camera. It was played all straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't want to like have their cake and eat it too. They went all in on this concept.
Yeah, they really did. They were like, well, this is what this movie is, top to bottom.
We're not going to apologize for it.
Yeah, this is what we're given.
Yeah, it was very quirky, and I liked that about it. I liked all the little vignettes of stuff that he was imagining.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning in the school gym when he's like about to have sex with her in front of the whole school.
Yep. Flag on the play.
And then when he's eating Chuck's dad and like he eats the whole body and it's just a skeleton with a head and he's like, there's no meat on there.
I saw the close up of the head. I was like, there better be a skeleton waiting underneath the frame.
And they delivered.
So happy to see it.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
Yeah, that was just great. I love how they played it through. Like they committed to their idea.
I don't know if this is too soon to bring it up, but like I don't feel horror at all from this movie.
No, it's horror in the strictest sense of that it's about zombies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just very, very silly.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it wasn't gory at all.
Yeah, like even when his body parts, like he started decaying and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, if you want to talk about makeup, if anybody else has any positives,
I was gonna say,
if not,
we before we transition to failures for the movie, I will say one success of the movie is the cast. Of this
for
movie,
sure.
you had brought up Edward Herrmann.
Yes.
Was it? He was in it. We had a lot of young stars in this movie, right? So there was
this is Matthew Fox's first movie.
Matthew Fox,
Matthew McConaughey.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Matthew McConaughey
did
had
pop up.
So
like randomly in the movie theater. It was just one shot of him.
Yeah, it was really weird. He was just like, Murph! I don't know why they threw that in. It seems a little early.
all right.
But
He was like 10 in the. No, not really. He looked like he was like 18.
looking so dapper.
Yeah. I mean, everyone looked great. I mean, Matthew Fox is so fucking hot.
Dude,
Dude,
he's so
I'm not gonna hold it
fucking
back.
hot.
It's like nuts.
My hetero boyfriend, ladies and gentlemen.
There he is.
No, dude.
Right out
like,
the gates.
he
No,
was
he's
just
a
all-American
super like
dashing.
strapping all-American lad.
Yeah.
His hair is like silken wax.
It really is.
He wore
Yeah.
way too many turtlenecks.
Well, I mean, Jack Shepard,
Yeah.
Dr. Jack Shepard.
Yeah. Gotta love some Lost.
Gotta
And then
love it.
Philip Seymour Hoffman was also in this movie. A very
I have
young.
him as an entire success.
Me too.
He was great.
Amazing.
And
He's
listen to
probably
this.
one of my favorites.
In Dean Laurie's story about how this movie got made, he was saying that Philip Seymour Hoffman, everyone was kind of like afraid and off put by him because he was in character the entire time.
Wow.
So nobody really got to know him. And he was like, well, that's like a total attribute of his because clearly it carried on through the rest of his career as he's now known as one of the best actors of our generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that's pretty
absolutely.
cool.
Well, you can tell how in the character he was. I mean, he had
completely.
He had what, maybe 4 scenes?
Yeah, maybe like 8 lines.
Yeah, and every moment so memorable.
Stole every single scene he was in.
Yeah.
Stinking dead Yahoo toucher is what he calls Johnny at one point.
Yeah.
I just love his hair. Like it just sticks
Peeking
right
through
out
the
of his
baseball cap.
But yeah, for a movie that like critically bombed and just got like no positive reception,
Yeah.
it had a great cast.
Yeah.
It was like an upstart for a lot of people.
I'm actually surprised this got any reception. This seems like the kind of movie that would just like fall through the cracks and no one ever saw it until you see it on TNT.
I feel like that's what it is. Like not a lot of people I know ever mention this movie.
Yeah, no, I didn't know about this movie until a few years ago when we watched it, and I thought it was hilarious. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, where was this my whole life? But if we can round out successes, then we can move on to some subpar moments of the movie. Some weaknesses.
Number one would be the makeup,
Yeah.
as we all mentioned. when we were watching it.
We all noticed.
It was rough.
That I mean, it just wasn't there. Or maybe it wasn't thought of
Very
before.
subpar.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So apparently, Bob Balaban, the director of this movie, wanted to allocate a certain amount of money for a special effects makeup artist,
Yes.
and he got shut down.
Wow. So they
producers
hired.
didn't
Didn't allow it.
They didn't allow it. So instead, this was filmed in Austin, Texas. They hired a local makeup artist who was just used to doing regular makeup to try to make him look like a zombie.
But see,
So someone
What do you
was
mean regular makeup?
like a regular makeup artist, like beauty makeup.
Like I'm
but
gonna.
that's what pisses me off even more, though,
Right?
is that
Like
that
you're
doesn't
making
even
a-
look like regular
You're
makeup.
making
That's
a
not even
zombie
good.
movie, and you can't allocate the money. Like there was that one shot. Not one shot, sorry. The one scene where they go to the movie theater and they're watching the zombie movie, and like all those zombies had great makeup. I mean, it was passable zombie makeup. It was legitimate special effects makeup.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? And why did that person not do his makeup?
Well, we want to. I think in order to maintain the mood of this movie and why everyone is
couldn't make
acting
him
the
too
way
gruesome.
like you can't go too far with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was also he was supposed to be getting kind of worse as the movie went
Yeah.
on. He was supposed to decay a
He
little
just
bit.
got grayer.
he didn't even get grayer because there were moments where it was
He
like
looked tanner.
He did.
Yeah.
He looked almost
I
the
feel
same
like he
color
got grayer
as she
for a
did.
little bit. You could tell his makeup was so thick. It
Yeah.
just looked like gray grease paint that someone like slapped on him.
Oh,
And
so-
then like towards the end, he started to get like pinkish hues to his face again, like a human.
Yeah, it was just inconsistent. I mean, if there was no money to put into it, that means there was no time put into it, and
Yeah.
they probably just rushed through it. But I mean, even just that, if they had that little detail to show his decay over the course of time, and maybe just even give him more character as a zombie, that would be pretty cool. I think that would have made this movie like really good.
I agree. I think that it could have been way more successful.
Yeah.
Like, I think the worst was when he first came back from the dead.
They're
And,
just like, his lips are
donut
blue
lips.
a little
no,
bit.
they're like donut lips. Like, it was just straight like,
you
white
ate a powdered-
powder donut lip. Like, yo, you did not try that hard for that makeup. But, I mean, he still killed it, though.
yeah.
Well, to add to what you said about how it felt rushed and like no time was put into it. I feel like such a nerd. I have like all the background data on this movie.
That's really good. We like that.
So this film,
Sorry.
you regretted that as soon as you said it. Your face.
Yeah. Sorry, that was regret. I'm sorry.
Tom, where'd you get those glasses from?
I don't know.
I like your bow tie.
So apparently this movie was set to be shot in 7 weeks. After the first week of shooting, the studio, everyone hated the dailies.
Okay.
So they made them scrap it and start all over.
What?
A week behind, and then finish the rest of it in 6 weeks, the remaining 6 weeks.
Wow.
Like this movie, I feel like it got no love.
It got set up to fail. It sounds like.
Yeah, it really did. And like the guy who wrote it was saying, like after the reception, he was like, "Oh, I'm ready to pack my bags and go home. Like I've officially failed in Hollywood." I mean, clearly he hasn't because he's gone on to work on some pretty decent shit. But that's like a shitty feeling. That someone
Yeah.
like takes this like creation of yours and like rips it apart and barely exists as what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what you get yourself into, which is unfortunate sometimes, huh?
And he even got shit on for naming the movie. People like blamed him for naming the movie My Boyfriend's Back and then not having the song in the movie. Like the writer would have anything to say about any of those decisions.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically overall he was not happy with this movie and neither was anyone else. But I guess he watched it later and he was like, you know what? I actually really like it. It's
Yeah.
really quirky and it's cool.
Yeah, no, it really is. Considering all these people wanted to get their hands on it, too many hands in the cookie jar.
Yeah.
Still can come out okay.
And apparently people in Hollywood thought that it was a really funny script and they liked it, so they hired him to do more work.
Yeah, and what would you say some of his other stuff was? Because it was mostly funny stuff, right?
Major Pain,
Yeah.
Jason Goes to Hell, Arrested
yeah.
Development.
Okay, yeah.
And there was like a couple of other things.
To
But those
name a
were
few.
those are the standouts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, good for him.
That's good. Everyone loves Major Pain.
The makeup was really the only like negative I had.
Yeah, it was really the only thing that I wished was on par with everything else that happened. You know, it's not even that I wished it was like crazy, over the top, amazing, awesome. I just wished it was right there with the rest of the quality.
Yeah, because I mean,
the comedy and everything.
Yeah, nothing else seemed like it was on like a huge budget, and they just threw money at everything else, but declined to give any time of day to having a makeup effects artist there.
Yeah. Well, do we have anything else that fell short, or I mean, was it really just the makeup part?
I had like 3 weaknesses.
All right.
And makeup was one of them. But my other one was I didn't really like the noises that it made when his dick fell off. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it was just like change. I was like, why does it sound like change?
It was a very like mechanical sound.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
Yeah, there was a lot of wacky sounds for his body parts falling off, but not for much else.
But those were also like dream sequences or like
yeah,
stuff
that
he was
is
imagining.
That's true.
Yeah.
Though I think where the scene where Philip Seymour Hoffman's character dies, I think there were like some goofy sound effects going on there too.
That's true.
I'm not sure if I liked them or not. It felt very slapsticky, and it worked in some places and maybe not so much in others.
I don't recall them, so I can't really say either way.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, because when he sneezed his nose off too, I felt like there was a weird noise.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like a ricochet or something like that.
Yeah.
It was like one of those weird cartoony sound effects.
Yeah. A little
Which I guess
cartoony.
For this movie, it works.
Well, and
Yeah.
I guess also,
But
you brought up
also dream
cartoony.
sequence.
Yeah, also a dream sequence, but it's cartoony, and I guess they even had like the comic book style transitions and
That's true.
and segues, and then they threw that in. So I guess it's not like out of left field. I'm just not sure it all worked together.
Yeah. Because like Chuck's dad's crew.
Yeah,
Like when they rolled out, they had like a
Always have
really
a theme.
weird like Western. Like,
It was
beat.
like a
It was,
hillbilly, like,
Yeah.
but they were all like the town rednecks.
Yeah.
Dude, the guy on the left looked like Anton Chigurh, and it was freaking me out.
Oh man. I didn't really like the subplot with the doctor and like the youth serum.
That felt
I mean, it didn't like. I feel like it solely served to elongate the movie, but it didn't really have much of a bearing on anything else that was happening.
is that something that you think they added for an extra conflict besides the fact that he's decaying?
It had to have been because that was the only other like climactic thing that
Yeah.
really happened.
Yeah,
was
true.
He tricked him.
And also, I must say that doctor character was hilarious.
Yeah,
So
it was
I'm
really funny.
very
Yeah.
glad that subplot was there because he had some excellent lines.
He
Yeah.
really, really did.
Yeah.
Well, he has an axe stuck in his head. He's very sick.
Yeah.
everyone's a doctor.
Absurd. Is anything else? Because if not, I have a question. I thought of this, and very specifically because T is on the show again.
Bring it.
So this movie, I looked it up halfway through. This movie is rated PG-13. Do you think this is any worse than Stay Tuned, which was PG, which was the other movie that T was on for?
I would have flipped these ratings all day.
Yeah.
Me too.
Right?
Yeah.
So the only thing I can think of to make this PG-13 is the sexual content in a way, like in just the beginning.
Like the suggestive
Yeah.
content.
You know what it was? It was the dicks falling out of his pants.
It could have been.
Well, not plural dicks, one dick falling
The
out of his
implied dick.
Yeah, the implied dick falling.
The implication.
The gym scene in his dream sequence, like he like mounted her. and
Yeah.
stuff like, I'm thinking that's the only thing that was over the top. So this got a
That's true.
PG-13.
But I mean, they both had clothes on.
That's
Oh, yeah.
very true too. But I mean,
Oh,
this
and then
is-
she did try to strip down when she was wearing her picnic outfit.
That's true. She did take her.
and
I mean,
she
we saw her
said,
bra.
"Eat me."
That happened.
That's vulgar.
Yeah. But like PG-13, I felt like these either could both be PG or both be PG-13. There's no reason that those movies should have different ratings in my eyes.
If
I
this
agree.
movie was made 10 years prior, it definitely would have been PG.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was like the year after Stay Tuned, which
Stay Tuned was super vulgar compared to this.
Yeah, it definitely was. Like in the
Totally.
language,
Yeah.
everything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there was
really
no like
anything.
titties in it or anything, but the
was,
language
like-
is way worse.
Morbid
It's-
and kind of violent.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, like strange.
Everything was like the kid was like calling his mom a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like I think there was more cursing in Stay Tuned.
I don't remember
Yeah.
any swears in this movie. To be
There was
perfectly
there was
honest,
a couple.
Unless that guy said faggots and not fatheads.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty
probably
sure he
the
said fatheads.
only thing. I don't know.
Hey!
Did he say fatheads? Like
I don't know.
we all don't know.
We don't know.
I don't think he has like the moral fortitude to say.
That would be the harshest thing in this movie.
Yeah.
And they did it at the very end.
Yeah, exactly. Like he was just, I don't know. He was like wacky, but not that wacky.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like a hateful bigot. I mean,
In contrast to the other movie, I think, it's just weird because you said you watched this as a kid, and this movie is, I think, appropriately horror comedy for a kid.
yeah, and I like all the sexual stuff was not like over the top to where I was like, whoa, like what does that mean? I was just like, that's funny, like his dick falling off.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just you don't understand when you're young and you watch stuff, but like in Stay Tuned, I don't know. It's just stood out to me.
I also have a question to pose to you guys.
All right.
Because in my research of this movie,
Ooh.
I learned that apparently there were supposed to be more zombies than just Johnny.
Okay.
Like just random zombies living in the cemetery. Because you know how the guy was like, well, once you leave the cemetery, that's when you like start to die.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that there was just a bunch of other zombies living there. And the end of the movie, the way he initially wrote it, was that they ditch the prom and go back to the cemetery where the zombies are having a zombie prom.
Oh man.
And I want to know
Damn.
if you think that would be better or worse than this ending.
Oh, far better.
Wait.
I would have loved to see Zombie Prom.
So
Me too.
in this ending that he originally wrote, do we know if that happened instead of him coming back to life and reliving the moment? Like, does it change the end of the movie that much, or does he like?
I don't
do they
know.
ditch the prom, go to the zombie prom, and then he decays? Because that I think would have been just a very heart-wrenching ending.
Well, if he goes back to the graveyard, then he stops decaying.
Well, that's true. That is true.
I don't
Wait,
know.
so are all the zombies
Dean
living-
Laurie, we have questions.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ending as it's in the final cut of the movie seems very studio
yeah.
Yeah. Like,
intervention. Like, nah, that ending's not going to work.
guys, no harm done. Everyone's okay.
Yeah. I feel like this movie is a great mix of horror and comedy. Like, not typically. I feel like it could be considered a rom-com generally, but the rom part is pretty much really backseated, I feel like, for most of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they go on dates and like they kiss and like all this stuff, but I feel like horror and comedy are the front seat for the majority of the film, and then at
Absolutely.
the end they're like, all right, straight up like romantic, heartfelt stuff.
Yeah.
It felt out of place.
Yeah, I mean, this movie's comedy first. I mean, maybe even rom second, and then horror third.
True.
I mean,
Comedy ROMs like Ernie's Big Splash.
Ooh.
Nothing. It's
the
like
second
Ernie's
week in a
Big
row it's come
Splash.
Okay, we're not going to talk about Ernie's Big Splash.
Yeah, let's stop. You guys have been talking about it all day.
If you want to know about Ernie's Big Splash, email us $10 anyone else have any questions?
What? I wrote this down as like a joke question, but
right.
now I really want to know.
All right.
Because I was watching an episode of Buffy the other day,
God.
and somebody was like trying to be sexy and like licked somebody's ear.
Okay.
And then I noticed that Sheila was like nibbling on Johnny's ear and then bit it off accidentally in this movie.
Okay.
And I was like, what was with like 90s and the ear fetish?
That's a really good point. Because, I mean, no, I remember
Think of all the
that.
times you've ever seen ear shit, and it's been in like 90s movies. What the fuck was
Yeah.
going on in the early 90s?
I don't know.
I don't know. The 90s weren't a sexy decade. So, like, what's the least sexy thing ear?
You can fetishize
Yeah.
What's the safest thing that you can fetishize?
ears, guys.
Put on your oversized flannel and let's chew ear.
But yeah, I was like, that's a really weird correlation.
That's a good question. What the fuck is with the ear? I don't know.
I don't know either. It's very PG-13 though, I guess.
That's very that's a really good point. Then maybe that's a really good PG way to show sex and show
guess.
like implication.
Sweet ejac.
Sexy EJ.
Sexy
yeah.
ejac.
Oh, I forgot to mention that Cloris Leachman is in this when we were talking about the cast.
That's right. Cloris Leachman.
She's great.
Yeah, she was funny. Yeah, everyone was funny, which was awesome. Do you want to go over some favorite parts now?
Some favorites.
I mean, we've been
I already
pretty-
mentioned two of mine.
Yeah, we've been pretty heavily weighted towards successes, which I think a lot of our favorite parts came through. But let's go ahead and highlight any other moments that we think are worthy of favorite parts.
The gym sex scene I thought was really funny. I feel like it just
Yeah.
because it was so early. I felt like it just set up the whole tone of the movie. Like he rides his bike to school, and then first class immediately that happens.
Yeah.
Say goodnight, sex boy.
And the referee's like flags him on the play.
Yeah.
Like, throws the flag in the bed, and he's like, "Come on!" He's like, "You're not using a
regulation size unit."
Yeah.
And he's like, "What? How is it not regulation?" I just thought that was like ridiculous and funny. Like even in his own fantasies, he's completely insecure.
But it's not even like the mentality of the people in the dreams are that far off from the reality that he's living in. You know, because everyone's so absurd anyway.
That's true.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
You do kind of get lost in what is reality and what is his dreams.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's so out there.
yeah.
Anyone else?
Let's see. I think I have a Philip Seymour Hoffman line written down here.
Yeah.
Watch it, dead boy. We don't like your kind. You're stinking up the whole school. The way he delivers everything was amazing.
Yeah.
But that line especially, I started laughing so fucking hard.
His voice is like,
He's like, he acts
like
just like a bulldog. Like, like the way he like approaches people too and like gets in their face.
The way his
he's
head is
adult.
positioned, he's like all face.
Yeah.
There's no head. It's just face.
Yeah, that's good.
stinking up the whole school. I wrote that down too. When they're lowering his casket into the ground, and Edward Herrmann's character is just like, "Be nice to God." Oh, that was funny. His mom made him a bologna and mustard sandwich with the crust
Slapped
cut
it on
off.
his coffin. I do like that scene. I like the way it was filmed.
Yeah?
Like I liked that they had it from his view from the coffin.
Like the
Yeah.
F word.
Yeah.
And like really, really far away. Like it
Yeah.
was there. Like the hole seemed so big. Like he was so distant from this life. It's good. Yeah, I'll agree with the dream in the gym was excellent. And actually,
Yes, good
one of my
one.
favorite parts, I think this happened, right? So how he even died in the first place, which he had tried to set up a situation with his friend to fake rob the convenience store that Missy, the love interest, was working at. So he's like coaching his friend up to put a ski mask on, has a gun. He's going to come, he's going to rob the place, and he's going to save the day. That was the plan.
So he can look like a hero and ask her to prom.
So ask her to prom.
And she'll feel indebted to him and say yes.
Because he's loved her forever, his whole life since first grade. And right before this happens, an actual guy comes who's going to rob this place, robs his friend of his ski mask, and then goes in to rob the convenience store, and he's none the wiser, so he stands up like a tough guy, and he's trying to save the day, yada, yada, yada. He gets shot. And as he's like dying on the ground, she like jumps over the counter and is like, "Oh, Johnny." He's just like, "Will you go to prom with me?" And I thought that was awesome.
And like as he's saying that, there's just like a blood squirt coming out of the hole in his chest.
Blood
I
finally
loved
starts
how
to come out.
bewildered she looked. Like, like, why are you asking me this? She looks so confused. She's like, sure.
Yeah, I really like it because he just stuck with the plan, even though the outcome happened the way it did. Like he just got shot in the chest. Like this was it's far from the plan as humanly possible. But he's just gonna stick with his plans
Going with it.
and just going with it. Like
Just making the best of it.
Yeah.
I also really thought it was funny in that scene how his friend is like taking extra long time to get in the store, obviously because he's being robbed, and like it cuts back to them and he has like everything in the store on the counter. Like he's buying he's like an inflatable yellow like army tank, like a bunch of stupid shit. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, he was like, he had a very good innocence to him, this character, and that just made you root for him even more,
Yeah.
which was cool. And yeah, I thought that was one of my favorite parts. I thought that was such a good way to introduce this movie and this character.
Yeah.
Because that happened real quick. I mean, that's like a first 15 minutes thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? Favorite parts for anyone?
I have a few favorite parts. But
Share
one of my
them with
favorites
us.
is the doctor.
Yeah?
I love the doctor.
Just in general.
But when he was being like diagnosing him and seeing what was wrong with him, and he was like, "Well, you're dead," and like starts talking about how his ear fell off and
Like, we don't
shit.
usually see this much activity in a dead person.
Yeah, but he was like so silly, and like taking his ear and like shouting hello into it. He's like just
Then
being
asked
a
if he could
dick.
keep
Yeah, can I
Yeah.
have this? That was awesome.
I thought he was a cool guy.
Yeah.
A lot of the older characters I liked more than the younger characters. The teacher.
Oh yeah,
The old teacher.
She scolds him for being late.
Yeah.
Even though he's dead.
Even though he's dead.
yeah.
I liked the best friend character too. I thought he was pretty funny
Yeah.
for being pretty background most of the time.
Yeah. You know, colleges look into this sort of stuff.
As
like
he's
eating
chewing somebody's stomach in the hall.
Yeah, he
That's
was
funny.
funny. I don't know if I really like the main guy though.
Really?
Johnny Dingle.
Andrew Lowry.
I don't know. He's just, I guess he looks like a dweeb, and I think he was supposed to be a dweeb.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't like his hair.
You don't like his hair?
No.
You know what? It's funny. I liked it.
Sticking straight up.
It was
I liked him
sticking
too.
straight up, but
He's
I
in the
don't know.
Buffy movie.
He is.
Yeah.
Plays
He's the one that
dick.
grabs her ass in the hallway and
Yeah.
she like body
Kicks his
slams
ass.
him.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I liked him. What about you guys? What do you think about? What do you
I
think?
think he
of
was
Johnny?
good
I
for the way
like
he
pretty
was
much
cast.
everyone.
Yeah, he did okay. I think the one thing that threw me off is he was 23 and he looked 27. He's supposed to be a high schooler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes that doesn't work out.
Yeah. We actually looked into that.
You know who's actually looked at for the role of Johnny? Michael. Oh, I'm gonna fucking butcher his last name.
Ironside.
Gorgian, or I fucking have no idea how to say it. He played Heroin Bob in SLC Punk.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And Carla Gugino,
I don't know who that is.
who was in Sin City. She has like short red hair. She was the therapist.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even
So
know.
I guess they were looked at for it. And some other folks.
Well, very cool. If we don't have any more favorite parts, we can move on to ratings. All right, let's rate it. So let's rate it then.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
Yeah,
fuck
I'm going to
you.
have to give it an unfortunate fuck off.
Oh my god, my fucking father.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
All right, guys, let's rate My Boyfriend's Back.
I'm obviously gonna give this movie a fuck yeah because I've loved it since I was like 7 years old.
Yeah. So you watched.
Well, then you should get shot for this movie and then try to go to prom with it.
if you
That
know
would
what
be
love
fitting.
So, I mean, how often was this movie a part of your life growing up? Like, was this just like I saw it when I was a kid, and then as an adult I remembered and went after it, or kind of watched it in staves?
I feel like I watched it like at a concentrated level, like maybe like 3 or 4 times in like a month or something. And then I maybe saw it a few more times like later in life.
Yeah.
And then I randomly saw it at Movie Stop on DVD when I was like 17 or 18, I think. And I was like, awesome.
Yeah.
Buying this because it was like $3.99 or something. I was like, you're lost, Movie Stop.
Can't afford not to buy this.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I just think it's super quirky and fun and like matter of factly. It just the whole mood of it just, you know, they had an idea and they went for it.
Yeah.
Apparently it was like a rocky road, but I think the outcome was very enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I would recommend it to anyone who just likes a goofy 90s movie.
Definitely. Eric, what about you?
I'm going to give it a fuck yes.
Okay.
I
A little
do
more
think it's
reserved.
Very. I do think the funny parts are extremely funny. The thing that really gets me from giving it a fuck yeah is where you can kind of see the studio meddling influence.
Yeah.
And it doesn't quite add up to a fuck yeah, but I do enjoy it quite a bit. It reminds me a lot of Dead Heat, which is that Joe Piscopo movie about undead cops. But this
Now
is
I want to watch that even more.
This is a much better movie than that, but they both have the same vibe. And I do like Dead Heat, and I like this better. So
Sweet.
fuck yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
T, what about you?
I mean, I feel like I loved this movie more when I was younger.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you not realize how like low budget it is maybe when you're younger?
Yeah.
Because I definitely had that problem.
Yeah. There's some things about it that just didn't go all the way for me.
Okay.
So I'm going to give it I almost said fudge.
This isn't Kids Movie Month.
This is not. I'm going to say fuck yup.
Fuck yup. Fuck yup.
I think that's a first for us.
Yeah, that is a first.
That sounds like something you would say in the 90s.
Yeah. Why? Well, why are you going to give it that?
I don't know.
Like-
I feel like it is a really awesome movie. Some things fell short for me that I wish didn't.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I feel like I wish it was a little more gruesome.
Yeah.
Like we brought it up earlier that it's not that much into the horror genre, but
Yeah, like third on the list.
but like she was saying, it really wasn't supposed to be that harsh. But I don't know, like when his body parts were falling off and stuff, I just wish there was some blood. I don't know, I like blood.
Little something extra,
a little something extra, you know?
Yeah, because to get I mean, you're already living in PG-13, you know?
Yeah.
So if it was PG, I would get it. You know?
Yeah.
But, But no, not the case. But yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
But even knowing that, I think I'm going to go fuck yeah. Because my expectations of this movie, the first time I saw it, were like non-existent. I was like, what is this? My boyfriend's back. What's this about? And she explained it to me, and I was like, that sounds awesome. Let's watch this movie. And it was just a good time. It was fun. It was silly. It just fit right into exactly what I think these types of movies should be. I think with the exception of the over-the-top anything, except for the absurdity of everyone in it. But I think it was still pretty good. And I would recommend it. I really would. And surprised to see all the cast members, like, just like that was fun knowing that everyone who was, not everyone who was in it, but a lot of people who were in it made it somewhere.
Like such big names.
Such big names. Like,
Huge. Yeah.
Huge. A-listers, you know, just doing side jobs.
I wonder, first I was wondering if this movie would be something that would benefit from a remake. But then I realized that they just made Life After Beth, which was mediocre. I had higher expectations for it, and
they made that other zombie movie,
Burying the Ex, which I didn't see, but seemed like pretty much the exact premise of Life After Beth.
Yeah,
which is zombie significant other comes back from the grave.
Well, I mean, they've been giving zombies emotions for a long time recently.
Well, science has come a long way.
Yeah. What was that movie?
Where the guy's
Warm
a zombie.
Bodies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but they weren't dating before.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
she kind of fell in love with him as a zombie, which I guess is the same thing.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, 'cause she didn't really pay
'Cause
attention to him at
she
all.
was not
before
your
when he was,
boyfriend.
like alive.
No, she really had no idea.
Yeah.
did I just say she was not your boyfriend?
I don't know.
He was not your boyfriend, and he is back.
And he's
Yeah.
back.
Well, do we have any beef with the title? Because honestly, I don't.
No.
I don't.
No.
Doesn't bother me at all that maybe that it wasn't the boyfriend before. Like, I don't care. I think my boyfriend's back's a really good
Johnny Zombie would definitely suck.
name. Way worse.
See, I don't think it sucks that bad.
I think it gives I don't know, it gives the wrong impression. Like, I feel like Johnny Zombie. Hey, I'm Johnny Zombie.
Well, we also don't know the general tone of how this was originally written.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have fit
that is
in
true.
way more with the original creation by the writer.
Johnny Zombie sounds like a movie about the kid.
I actually want to read the original.
Yeah.
I'm
The
curious.
original script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Curious what they changed up from what you were saying. Sounds like they changed up a lot. That's a
know.
bummer.
I'm very curious. What were you going to say?
I don't remember.
Something about a kid.
I don't know. Oh. No.
Johnny Zombie.
Johnny Zombie sounds like a movie about the kid who's like comes back from the dead and he's like the coolest kid in school.
Ew.
Like
Is
he comes
Guido?
back and he's like, what?
Was he like a Guido? Because that's how you made him sound.
No.
Hey.
You were like, hey, I'm
Like-
Johnny Zombie.
Like Fonzie. He comes back, he's like the cool guy around.
Well,
Yeah.
his name is Fonzarelli, so obviously he's a Guido.
Well, yeah, I understand. Hey, relax.
Come on.
I know Fonzie's a
Racial
little greasy,
slur.
but whatever. All right, never mind.
Greasy.
So is that it?
Johnny Zombie, starring Tony Danza. Hey, yo, Angela, I'm a zombie.
Who's the zombie? All right. Are we done?
On that note,
Are we done?
I have no final thoughts.
Is that it?
let's gingerly touch on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another successful installment in Halloween movie month.
Yeah. I think this was pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't super horror, but it was horror enough. Had some zombies in it. It was good.
Yeah, it was fun horror.
Yeah.
If we
A little
will
light.
say, yeah.
Might get a little hard later. I don't know. We'll see what kind of horror movies we want to get ourselves into.
I kind of want to
Mine's
watch.
gonna be silly.
Yours gonna be silly too?
Oh shit.
I want to watch Ginger Snaps, but I don't know where we could fit it in.
Ooh,
yeah,
Ginger
that's a-
Snaps is
That's a good one.
What?
solid.
I thought you said sucked. I was like, do I have to drop this mic and beat the shit out of you right
Don't
now?
mic drop me, dog. What you mean? What you mean?
Don't make me come at you.
But yeah, this has been Second Class Cinema. We watched My Boyfriend's Back, and I think we'd all recommend it. I don't want to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
If you'd like more information, you can visit us on Facebook, facebook.com/secondclasscinema. You can listen to us on secondclasscinema.com. iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher. But thanks for stopping by, T.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming again.
For having me.
Yeah, round 2. Have a good time.
Sister.
Gotta get with ya.
All right, good night, Tia and Tamara Mowry.
Okay, well, you're dead, which is unusual because we don't normally see this much activity in a dead person.